didn't know we are live. I'm so sorry. Welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series. Am I live? It looks like I'm actually live without even knowing it. All right, welcome to the series. If you were here with me, welcome. Let me know you're here with me. Let me know that you can see me and you can hear me. Obviously, it doesn't even look like it is around here, but I think we are live. Welcome to the How Can I Support My Child series again. And today we are going to be dealing with another question that parents ask about how they can support their children. And in today's episode, we are going to be looking at the question: what is my role in helping my child become an independent learner? What is my role as a parent in making my child become an independent learner? Dear parents, I've been talking about our children, it's the beginning of the school year, isn't it? So it's that time of the year, it's the beginning of the school year, children are back in school, and all of that. And so the game is on, the race is on, right? The learning process is ongoing. Now this learning process is supposed to be something that it's a lifetime thing. We are all supposed to be learning, and so every day should be a day or a part of the learning process. Every day should be about learning. But a lot of times, many of us as parents have turned learning to something that is about school. So we have tied it, to school. And so at a time like this, I know a lot of parents are in that space where, okay, yes, the holiday is over, the children are back in school. And so it's time to get serious, it's time to get working. It's time to, get into it and all of that. So we will see a lot of children. Oh, what's going on here? All right, so we will see a lot of parents with expectations. Sorry, that's distracting, right? Sorry. So there are going to be expectations now that the children are back in school. All right, there are going to be expectations with the academics, expectations, with all of the things that are associated with school. And so this is why we're talking about this, because we want parents to be less and less pressured, right? And we want them to put less and less pressure on the children when the children get to school, or when schoolwork becomes, a thing, right? So we want to help parents, we want to support parents, right? So that they can understand. Sorry. To help parents, sorry about that. All right, so we want to help and we want to support parents with what they need, right? We want to support parents and children with what they need to ensure that academic pursuits is not stressful, to ensure that the children can actually go to regular school, go to, homeschool, or go to regular school, whatever way the children are getting an education is seen as that, an education, and not, some means or some reason for a lot of pressure. All right, children are supposed to learn. We are all supposed to keep learning. And so learning is supposed to be a lifelong thing. It's not supposed to be something that is meant to bring chaos, or is meant to bring pressure, or is less meant to be stressful. Learning is meant to be enjoyable. Learning is meant to be fun. Learning is meant to be something that, we have embraced as a lifelong experience. All right. So the more we know how to, turn learning into a lifelong experience for ourselves and for our children, the more we will get our children to enjoy learning and to be lifelong learners. All right. So this is why I have been sharing a lot about this, because I want to help families, I want to help parents, I want to help the children understand that there is no need for the pressures. There is no need for undue pressure as far as getting an education is concerned. Yes, there are things that we should do to help us build all the skills, to help us become that educated, those educated people that we want to be. But it's not meant to be hard. It's not meant to be difficult. It's not meant to be, packed with pressure and a lot of, all of the things that we have come to associate with learning. All right. So recently we had no recently I launched my books, and there were some perks that came with buying or pre-ordering the books, and even ordering the books right now. All right, so we promised those who got the book that we were going to be sharing a robust guide. All right, a guide on how to support your child to learn independently. All right, so that guide is almost, I mean, we're going to have the guide out this weekend, right? It's such a, it's a very resourceful, I mean, it's a very effective and very loaded resource that we're going to be putting out there, right? And gifting those who have, ordered my new books, Unlocking Excellence and Destined for Greatness. Sorry, Destined for Greatness and Wisdom Stories for Champions. So, for those who have ordered the book, right, you will get these guides, and I want you, when you get this guide, I want you to milk this guide and use this guide, right? I want you to milk the guide, use the guide, follow the guides in that guide, right? Follow the tips, the strategies that we have shared, right? Take it as a tool to actually, milk that tool and use it to support your child. Of course, we are not just going to give it to the children in the mastermind circle. We're going to have a whole training. All right. So we're going to have a whole training with them on with using that, guide. So I'm so excited about the guide. It's such a robust resource that we are going to be giving out for free. All right. But then only if you have ordered our book. Yeah, if you have ordered or pre-ordered and my new books, so you can get this guide and two other guides or two other bonuses for getting our books for just, some people got that book, I mean both books, a pre-order, they got it a pre-order for 3,000, right, or something like that. That's for 3,000 naira each, right? A pre-order right now, you can still get the book for 4,000 and you will get 4,000 naira each. All right, so that's Destined for Greatness, amazing resource for your 7-year-old and above children. And then where's the other book? Wisdom Stories for Champions is right here. Another amazing. Okay, why don't I have it here? All right, I don't have a copy here. Someone must have moved it. All right, so another amazing resource. All right, we have a copy here. So another amazing resource, right, for your child. You should get these books, right? So yes, let's go right into the crux of the matter, what we're talking about today. So let's talk about your role. I'm going to be sharing just 3 or 4 of them this session, chit chats, right? That's why I call it. It's a chit chat. We come here and we, share the question that a question that parents have asked about how to support their children effectively. We share it and then we throw some light and give, some solutions to that question, or we answer the question, so that if you have that same struggle or you have that same challenge, now you know what to do and you have a tool that you can, rely on or you can go to. But I always would say, right, these short 30-minute sessions that we have here are never enough if you really want to parent effectively and you want to see the results. Parenting is not a sprint, it's a long marathon. So you want to equip yourself for the marathon. You want to equip yourself for every lap of that marathon. And so if you're a parent of a young child and or a parent of a preteen, you are at a phase, you are in another lap of your journey, and on this lap there is what you should be doing. All right, for this lap of your child's life and your journey, there are things that you should put in place, right, that will be effective, right? Things that are relevant to your child, things that are effective, okay, ways that you can effectively cater for the need of your child at a time as this. All right, so we need to make sure that our solutions are also age appropriate, right, when we are dealing with our children. So I would usually say to parents, if you are parenting a young child, you are parenting a preteen, let's say you're parenting a school age child, I like to say learn everything that you can learn about your pre-age child, a preschool child, sorry, school age child, and also learn all that you can learn about the preteens, right? Because right after this phase, you will get into the next phase, and you do not want to wait until you are in that next phase for you to learn what you need, or learn the basics, of what you need to help your child attain the milestones for that age. So, yes, every phase of their lives have got peculiarities, and we want to ensure that we have the tool to deal with each of these phases. All right. So yes, for you, the parent of a young child, for you, the parent of a preteen, what can you do to help your child, right, learn independently? What can you do to help your child study independently? All right. Some of us have, we have renegated supporting our children to extra teachers and extra lesson teachers and every other person. Okay, I say this to the parents in the mastermind circle, and I say this even to myself as a parent who understands the place of mentorship. And I have put my children in systems, and I introduce my children to systems and platforms where they can get mentorship from adult mentors, and they can actually be in systems also where they can have peer mentorship and peer support and inspiration and motivation. All right. In all of this, I still recognize deeply that our role as their parents cannot be replaced. It cannot be auctioned. It cannot be, renegated, or it cannot be transferred to someone else. So it doesn't matter who the people who are supporting your child are. It's critical that as a parent you understand your place and you understand the role that you play in your child's life. All right, very, very important. And it's that role that we're going to be talking about, because that role is so important that it comes with some extra perks that other people do not have. For one, children connect with people, or children learn from people that they connect with. All right. And there is really hardly any other person. If you are being present in your child's life the way you should be, there's really no other person that your child should connect with more than you. All right. So if we go with what it's supposed to be, right, then our children should connect. I mean, it should be so easy for our children to connect with us. Our connection with our children should be so deep that our children can learn from us better than they learn from anyone else. Apart from that, you are their first teacher, right? And you are the first environment that they know. Of course, the first, the first, um, you are the first person or the first eye through which they will see the world. So, yes, your role in the life of your child cannot be overemphasized. All right. And so, for most of the things that our children, would need to navigate the world, right, they are going to learn first from us. So, they pick their patterns from us, they pick their mindset from us, they pick their convictions from us, they pick their beliefs in many cases from us. So, knowingly or unknowingly, our children are picking this. So, that's why we always say to parents, wouldn't you rather, since you know all of this, since you are this informed, since you are this knowledgeable about how much effect you have in the life of your child, wouldn't you rather choose to be, intentional, such that you actually, go all out to position yourself, right? To position yourself, powerfully for your child to learn from you and learn effectively and learn best practices and learn the best of everything that they're supposed to learn. All right. Isn't it, just a plus that you know that your child is learning from you, and so you decide that you are going to position yourself and help program them by modeling the right thing. So when you model the right thing, it simply means that your child will be programmed, right, to do things the way they have seen you do it. And so your child will pick the right thing. Your child will pick excellence from you because you were intentional about what it is that you are modeling to them. Please, parents, don't ever allow anyone tell you that you are being too serious or you are taking anything too seriously, especially when you are raising children. That is the whole idea. Take everything seriously such that you are positioning and you are programming them, right, for what it is that you want to see in them. All right. So do not just go about anyhow, right? Do not just go about, without a sense of direction when you have children around you. Be intentional about what they are seeing. Be intentional about what you are modeling or what you are putting out in front of them, because this will form the programming and the pattern of your child. And this is how your child will view the world. So if you are a parent that is erratic, you are a parent that is always chaotic, you are a parent that is, all over the place with your emotions, you are a parent with all of this, with a lot of baggages and trauma, and you decide that, I'm not going to be intentional about, I'm not going to be intentional about showing my child or doing the work on myself so that I can model, something better than what it is that I have seen in the past to my child, then you're just going to end up leaving the child with the same patterns that you don't like about yourselves, the same patterns that you picked up, that you are struggling. That is the reason why you are struggling, and is the reason why you don't like certain things, that you do in your life. So yes, now position yourself and work on it so that we can model differently to our children. All right, so now you want to help your child learn how to study independently. You want to help your child learn how to, direct themselves, take initiative, and then go about their schoolwork and every other aspect of their learning independently. What do you do? Now, because we are talking about school, let's kind of narrow it a bit, to school. Let's focus sort of, on school so that we can see, because I know that's the pain point of many of us. Okay, that's a pain point. How can I get them to do well in school? How can I get them to, do all of this? You people say, okay, they may not need lesson teacher. The children need to, gain stamina. The children need to develop their independent learning muscles. The children need to learn independently. The children need to all of this. So yes, you're saying this. What do I do? How can I ensure that the child can support themselves, or how can I ensure that the child has adequate support, from us, and the child knows how to direct themselves if I'm not going to, apply or take the service of all of these other people. Right. Now, before I continue, let me say this. There will be points that you will find that your child needs support, or your child needs, some expert or some, coaching, or probably even a tutor. All right. Now, when you identify, don't just get them to have people supporting, and directing them all the way. Do you get? Pay attention and make sure that you only have a tutor, or you have someone that is helping your child in an area because your child needs it, because it is a need. And when you do that, ensure that whatever it is, your child is at the front of all of it. Your child is directing themselves to a huge extent. It is centered on your child. And then when you get to the point that the child does not need that scaffold anymore, the child has gained mastery, or the child has learned or can navigate on their own without the support of this extra person, then it's okay to let the child take it on their own from there. When you do this, we're helping our children develop the muscles that they need to navigate. It is nature's plan, and it is God's plan that each of us become independent. So from the day your child was born, the goal is that the child becomes independent. And so every day is supposed to be a step towards independence. So if you continuously make them dependent, or you continuously put things in place that are helping them do everything, especially the things that they can do for themselves, you are stopping them from, gaining that independence that they are supposed to have. So this is what we are talking about. All right. So yes, let's look at it. How can we ensure that our children can direct and lead themselves, and especially to study and all of that? All right. The first thing you want to do is you want to find a balance, right? You want to find a balance between support and independence. All right. Know what it means to support your child, and know what it is for your child to be independent. Our children are meant to be independent at every level. There is a level of independence for your 1 year old. There's a level of independence for your 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12. So ensure that your child is independent at their level. So for your 1 year old, there are certain things that your 1 year old can do that you do not necessarily need to help them do, because the child can do these things on their own. For instance, the moment your child has hand to mouth coordination, there is no need for people feeding the child all over the place. Let the child feed themselves. Get ready for the messiness, because the child is going to grow in that mess. All right, their growth, their development is all in that mess. All right, it is the job of the child to, to do right. So it is the job of the child to do. The brain and the hands, the brain and the child being focused, sitting and staying focused on an activity, right? Your child being focused on a particular activity, right, for a stretch of time, of course, helps their brain development. All right. So your child needs to be in that place. Your child needs to work, because during the phase when the child is working between 0 and 6, when your child sits and is focused on an activity and the child is working, yes, the child is working because the child is actually constructing. All right. So constructing, is work at the time. So play is the child's language of work. All right. So help the child do the activities that the child would use their hand, that the child would actually be focused on, that the child will actually, get to be a part of it and make it happen on their own. So you need to get the children to do that more, basically, as they grow. So you need to understand what the child can do on their own. Then you don't need to do it for the child, because if you do, then you have moved from supporting the child to the child depending on you. So the rule of thumb is, do not do for a child what the child can do for themselves. So you want to pay attention to that, and that way you're able to, balance between support. Now the support now comes in you identifying that the child is ready for certain kind of learning, or the child needs, stimulation in a particular area or in certain areas, and providing that stimulation for the child. You identifying the things that the child is interested in, and then you create the environment for your child to interact, with that thing in their environment. You being there to support the child, to ensure that the child is safe. All of these things, you seeing the child struggling with something, and you being there to prompt them until they're able to figure it out on their own. Now, this is support, and that's what we're supposed to be doing, supporting them, as opposed to taking over everything that the child is doing. All right. So ensure that you are not taking over everything that the child is doing. Allow the child, encourage the child to do things on their own, so that they can build resilience and they can build problem solving skills. All right. You want to do that. You want to also make sure that while the child is at age, you build a safe, an easy communication pattern, right? Such that the child can constantly communicate with you. The child can communicate their need, can communicate their struggles, and when they need help, the child is able to ask for help. This is part of it. This is how you support the child, and you're able to create that balance. Okay, being there to provide guidance and also give them feedback and encouragement. This is part of how your child, you can balance support and independence. And then the last one I'm going to be talking about is you being there to model the right thing to your child. When you are there and you are modeling the right thing to your child, that is one of the biggest supports that you can give to your child. So you model and the child can see firsthand, right, how to do that thing. And so you give the child the opportunity to do it. And then the last one I'm going to be talking about is you understanding. It's actually the first thing that you should know, that your child is on their own journey. The child is on their journey. The child is undergoing a journey. So yes, you're there to support them. You are there on your own journey also. But your journey is not your child's journey, especially when they become school age children and preteens. Your journey is not their journey. So you must make sure that your child is going on a journey, effectively. Ensure that the child has the right support. Ensure that the child is in the right environment. Ensure that the child has the right people supporting them, okay, outside you. Okay, apart from you, you want to ensure that in other areas of their lives where they have needs, they have people supporting them. All right, as I said, if the child is struggling with concepts, the child is struggling with a skill, okay, or an interest that the child has, and you want to hone it into skills, then you will need a coach. You will need someone that is an expert in that area. Then bring them in to support the child. Everybody needs a coach, right? The child is in need. The child is growing in their personal development. The child needs to learn, to collaborate. The child needs to learn, the child needs to learn to connect with people who can inspire them, who can motivate them. We all need those kind of people in our lives. And so the child will need mentors. All right. So it's your responsibility as a parent to ensure that you're able to scout and look for the right mentors who can meet the need of your child as per that time. I say to parents a lot, if you have children who are young, you're 6-year-old, you're 7-year-old, up to your 10-year-olds, right? Then you want to put them in a mastermind circle, because in the mastermind circle, we are deeply, deeply focused on helping children build a solid foundation. So in the mastermind circle, our focus is on getting our children to cultivate the habits that they need. And then we do not just help them cultivate this habit, we stay in there and help them build that habit through consistency. So that's why in the mastermind circle, consistency is a big thing for us. It is one of the most accountable systems that you can find. Yes, our accountability is not, it's not what do you call it? Our accountability is consistent, is a daily kind of accountability, not because it's not stressful, but because of the peculiarity of the children that we are working with. We're working with 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and so we understand the place of consistency with this group of children. We understand the place of encouragement and support for this kind of children. We understand the language of children at this phase. We understand the place of motivation for children at this phase. We understand the place of zero shaming for this group of children, because these are children who are still constructive. And so we know that how we show up for them and how we are present in their life is going to form the basis for trust, okay, and self-beliefs in these children. And so we handle this group of children differently, okay, than we handle even the ones who are 11 and up to 13. During the 11 and 13-year-old phase for the senior partners in the mastermind, now we are taking them through leadership skills. We are taking them through supporting other people. We're taking them through understanding themselves and owning their autonomy. We're taking them into daring to launch, and all of that. So it's such a robust system that we have in the mastermind circle. Well planned, our curriculum is robust. So I say to parents, your young children, bring them to the mastermind. Let them build stamina. Let them build the right foundation. All right. And then we pass them through the early, when they are preteens and just teens at 13. So we pass them through that whole phase where we help them launch, right? And then after that, we now send them off as graduates, and then we send them to go to other programs, because now we know that the foundation is solid. And this is what we are talking about. All right, we send them off to, go do other big things, be productive, be resourceful, and all of that. So that's it. If you like your child to be in the mastermind circle, you can still get in. We just started the cohort and we're still at that phase where we are building and, structuring the ground, getting organized. The children are setting goals. We don't just set goals 1 day, 2 days, we take our time because, as I said, it is foundation. The mastermind is foundation. We leave you grounded. That's what we do in the mastermind circle. We leave the child grounded. We equip them for the rest, of their teenage phase. Yes, when we graduate children from the mastermind circle, we know that they are solid. We graduate them as solid teenagers. Yes, that's what we do. All right. So very, very key. You want to balance that. You want to balance between, supporting the child and the child depending on you. You don't want the child depending on you. All right. The next one I said I'm going to share just 3. Okay. So we are off here in the next 5 minutes. All right. The next thing you want to do is you want to create a stimulating learning environment in your home. All right. If you're going to have your child become independent, if you're going to have your child know how to study independently, know how to motivate themselves, know how to drive themselves, then it is important or it's critical that you create a stimulating environment. I cannot talk about stimulating environment enough because, as I said, we deal with young children and preteens, and we know that the foundation is everything. And part of that foundation is your environment. The environment where the child is nurtured is as important as the people who raise the child and the value that is the value that informs their choices, right, and their behavior. So the environment is key. So how you set up that space to invite your child to learn or to study on their own, and develop that skill is very important. All right. So in the guide, I shared 5 to 7 practical tips that you can use for each of the ways that you as a parent can support the child. So I'm sharing directly from the guide. All right. So some of the things that you would do is for your child, you want to create that stimulating environment in your home. Number one is you want to organize your space in a way that their study center is really, they have a study center that is related to learning. Create that spot in your home or create that spot in the child's room or wherever, if you have enough space, a resource room or whatever. But create that space that is synonymous to learning or studying. So, and this should start as early as possible for your 2-year-old, your 1-year-old, your 5-year-old, as early as possible. If you don't have that, create it today in your home. Let an area be synonymous to learning. All right. And let there be a time that is synonymous to learning activities. For instance, there should be a time for homework and there should be a time for study, okay, and all of that. Now, you want to ensure that you incorporate play. Even for your preteen, ensure that there is the place of playing and there is the place for free time where your child can actually choose an activity on their own. If you're going to raise children who will learn independently, who will study independently, okay, then you should raise a child who knows how to navigate, who knows how to that is self-discipline and knows how to lead themselves. And so leading themselves includes knowing when to play, knowing when, they have time, to choose what they want to do, and then knowing that this time is time for study and this time is time for homework. All right. When the children, this time is time for leisure reading. When the children know this, then you set this as a routine and you are consistent. So when you are consistent about this, then the child now relates that time and that place to this activity, and it becomes a part of their default. Okay, it becomes a default, thing for your child, such that every time it's that time or the child is in that environment, the child knows that, okay, it's time to stop with the play and stop with the jumping around. I got 30 minutes here, right here to do this. And that's how you begin to cultivate, this habit, and all of that. Number 2 is you want to have a well-stocked library that reflects the child's needs and the child's preferences. So parents, don't raise children who don't read. And yes, don't keep saying, oh, all my children want to read is one particular kind of book. Allow them read the books that they like to read, all right. But pay attention to your children's interests. Pay attention to the other things that your children like. Now, when you find other things that your children like, now begin to look for literature literature or look for, publications or look for books, right? Anything around that. Now, the child may not jump in, especially if all your child knows how to read is fiction books. They may not jump in on it. So, what do? You get those materials and you begin to read together. Create what we call a buddy reading time with your children, or a stop and read session with your children. We do that in my home every day, right? We do that in my home every day. Okay, sometimes so weekends we don't do. Monday through Friday, immediately after we've had dinner and we have logged into our reading, our journals, we've done gratitude and all of that, we actually wind down with reading a book. We do Bible studies and then we read a book together. And this reading may just be 15 minutes. 15 minutes. The kids and I are reading Where is the Money? I think that, yeah, Where is the Money? That's the book we're reading right now. Right? All of us, we're reading Where's the Money. That is around, he joins us. If he's not around, we do our thing, if he's not in yet. So cultivate that culture. When you're doing that, you're already positioning yourself or your children to read and to love reading and to love learning. I hope you know people who love to learn and people who love to read. All right. So that's part of it. Use technology and modern tools that can aid research and learning. Okay, e.g. games and applications and then materials like that. Get your children into that space where you reduce, now in your home, reduce distractions by ensuring that your digital environment is not polluted. Your environment is not polluted by digital distractions and physical distractions. All right, so you want to create, especially now during the week, why do you have loud music playing in your home? All right, if you are going to raise children who enjoy learning and studying on their own, then there has to be a system in your home that there are down times, right? There are down times where everywhere is calm, everywhere is conducive, the child can read and understand. Not the one you tell the children go and read, meanwhile you are in the living room watching all kinds of loud things and all of that, and it's distracting, or you're playing loud music. All right. So as I said, establish a routine that balances structure and flexibility. I talked about routine. So make sure that it balances structure and flexibility such that it's not uptight. It's not uptight. I said, let the children play, let the children have that free time that they can incorporate whatever they want to do. Okay. But there should be boundaries. For instance, there's no TV during the week and that's it. So you can do other things, puzzles, play, a board game or whatever. You can do something else. Go out and run around, whatever it is. But definitely you cannot, watch TV or any of those things that are not accepted. All right, the last one I'm going to be sharing today is goal setting and achieving those goals. We cannot overemphasize this. I've talked about goal setting. I did that just 2 days ago. Day before yesterday or something like that. I've been talking about that. But no, if you are going to get children to study on their own and all of that, then we cannot overemphasize the place of goal setting and achieving the goals. All right, so introduce your children to goal setting as early as possible. Okay, so this will help them stay focused, all right, on the things that are important, and it will help them stay motivated. All right. Now, there's a difference between short-term and long-term goals. Begin to help your children understand this so that your children start with short-term goals and then gravitate, or graduate into setting long-term goals. All right, support them to understand the importance of goal setting. Sometimes we get them into that whole system, but they don't even understand what they're doing. Help them to understand this, help them to plan, right? After setting the goals, let them plan to achieve those goals and let them create timelines and, that will help them execute the goals. Now, don't leave it at that. Ensure that their goals are smart. All right. Ensure that their goals are specific, they are measurable, they are achievable, they are relevant, and they are time bound. Do all of this with your children. All right. And then, of course, put all of these as a framework and help your children even create a vision or a visual representation of those goals so that they continue to see it and they continue to work on the goal. There are many other things you can do with your goals. We're doing this with the children in the mastermind circle. We're going to be using other tools to help them honor their goals that they have on their vision board. Vision boarding is one of those tools, okay, but that's not the only tool. There are many other things that you would do to ensure that the children and their goals are in sync. All right, provide accountability systems. All right, create a system that will hold your child accountable. Hold your child accountable, and you can even take it a notch by bringing them to the mastermind circle where we also hold them accountable. So now your children have people, you have expectations, we have expectations, and we help them create their own expectations of themselves. Now your child is not idle. Your child has a sense of responsibility because there is a motivation behind achieving those goals. There are people who are expecting them to achieve it, they are expecting themselves, and there are people who they have to go back and report to. Help your children learn the place of accountability. You make and you do a disservice to your children if you don't teach them accountability as early as possible. It's like leaving a person to just wander around with nobody to ask them questions and nobody that they're answerable to. So start early to help your children understand the place of accountability. So create a system to monitor their goals and adjust the goals when there is a need. Okay, but you and your child should be able to track their goals and their progress. All of these things I'm telling you, I'm not capping. All of this is what we do with the children in the mastermind. All of this is what we're doing, especially in this cohort. We took goal setting to the next level. We took goal setting to the next level in this cohort. So we are tracking, the children are tracking. Accountability is 100. I mean, accountability is top notch. It's such a robust system. No child should not be in the mastermind circle. And then finally, the importance of them, it's important that they recognize and they recognize the milestones. So that's why you have the timelines, and all of that. So help them recognize the milestones that they want to achieve per time, and then let there be rewards at the end of the day. The reward becomes the motivation. And I'm not saying that give them money because they did. There's always a way to reward. Even they can reward themselves. There's always a reward that they can put right to achieving their goals, and that becomes part of the motivation. All right, so these are ways that we can get ourselves or position ourselves to help our children. All right, there are many in that guide. We have up to 10 different things that you should be doing. All right, and then we have what the children will be doing. So look out for the guide, and yes, you can actually pre-order our book today. All right, pre-order my recent books. All right, Unlocking Excellence and Wisdom Stories for Champions. Just pre-order these two amazing books and you get that guide for free. The guide is actually worth 5,000 naira, but you get it for free simply because of this. All right, it's that, I mean, we're that generous. And it's not just the only guide. We have two other things. We actually, when we're pre-ordering the book, we said the packs are worth as much as 15,000 naira, and we're giving them, for free, just because you ordered these two books for just 8,000 naira. All right, so I'm going to leave you here today. We'll be back here tomorrow for the last episode of the week, where we will be talking, about another question that parents have asked, all right, about how they can support their children. Have a fantastic rest of the evening, and thank you for joining me. If you got value, let me know in the comment section. If you're catching the replay, let me also know that you joined us in this session. Good night and have a blessed evening. Bye.